Hello everybody, it is me, Derek Jameson, and I am coming to you today on this lovely Sunday morning to talk about a few things. Originally I was just going to talk about one thing, but then something else was poking me saying, you should talk about this too. So I'm going to. The first thing I want to talk about is you as a channeler. Some of you might not understand what channeling means or what I mean by you as a channeler, but if you think of the creative times that you have, whether or not you're an artist, you're building something, you're doing anything that's really creative, whether or not it's a spiritual creative outlet, or it's music that you're writing, creating, or even journaling inside of your journal or your diary. Any of these things, creating jewelry, things like that, everything that is a creative expression. Well, what is happening is that you're actually channeling information that's allowing you to create that. So it's your connection to spirit in a way. So once you get that flow that you get on and that full clear pathway of what you want to write, what you want to talk about, what you want to create, what you see in your mind as the vision, and then you execute the plan, that's you channeling information. If you think about it in terms of an actor, or even when people say, I'm channeling my inner, and then they say like some celebrity or some very iconic thing that everybody knows, they say, oh, I'm channeling my inner Madonna. I don't know why she came up to my mind the first thing, but she did. And you can say, I'm channeling this person, and you're becoming the persona of what they represent, right? So when you're doing creative work, you are also doing the same thing. So an actor that's sitting there trying to learn lines and they're trying to embody this character, the reason why we can watch a movie or a TV show and we believe it so much is because they are tapping in to the frequency of what that being represents. Sometimes that can be a very dark representation, sometimes it can be a very light representation, it just depends on the project, but they are tapping into and channeling the energy of what that thing represents. So it's a very clear way of how you can kind of associate how people can channel information. The most creative artists tend to be very open to channeling that information. So when you're creating, let's say, a song, you're creating a song and you're like, I really want this song to move people in this certain way. You start opening your consciousness to the energy of what you're trying to teach or the message that you're trying to convey, right? You can feel it in your heart. You can feel it in the way you think. I used to start off when I was really young writing dark stuff. So when I first began writing music, it was because I was in a dark place and it was my only outlet. And what I would do is I would create music that from an angry spot, from a dark, a depressing place, and I would, everything around me, including the things that I did, the things that I watched, the concerts that I went to, would all revolve around that darker energy because that's where my attention was going to, and that's what was feeding my creative outlet. So we begin to channel all the time. Even when you're just writing in your journal and you're writing thoughts, you're letting things out of you, you're channeling that inner being that you have within you. So you're channeling this higher self of you that knows better. So you're allowing things to process, understand things, and come out. It is just the way that you work through that information and allow it to come out of you. So even when things are angry and people are mad, they're channeling the energy of that stuff to get it out of them. So we are all channelers. People think of channeling as the typical, those of you that know more about this kind of stuff, you're thinking about the people who channel spirit, information from other beings or other realms, angelics, ETs, everything. You're thinking about everyone who channels information from somewhere out there, but we're coming into this new space now where people can do it themselves and are realizing that they are doing it themselves. So the more that you can realize that you are actually channeling yourself all the time and receiving information, whether or not you're receiving information through thought, through feeling, through hearing, all of those sensations, you are actually channeling the information through you, and then you can allow it to come out of you through creative expression or however you need to. But you're doing it all the time. So those of you that are actually doing that and kind of opening up to that, you are actually not needing to listen to somebody that necessarily channels information, because we are shifting into this new frame of thought and frame of being and frame of love. And because we're moving inward more in a space of love, you are being able to receive that information yourself and be able to gain any access to anything you want to know. Literally anything. So some people think they have to go outside of themselves to find out information, but really, once you start going inward and begin that journey, things start peeling back. You're not going to get everything all at once, trust me. You're not going to get everything all at once. You're going to get it in like little spoonfuls or little bits, little sips, if you will, of information, things that you can handle. If you got dumped with all of this information all at once and your being wasn't able to fully process that, then it would be overwhelming. It's kind of like all of a sudden telling someone something that it wasn't even in their belief system and shocking them. They're so shocked that they turn it off and they can't even get any information, right? Well, this is done in little ways, little bits at a time as you're ready. Then you process the information and then you move on to the next thing. Okay? And then that's how we kind of learn how to do it. But you are all channelers. You are all receiving information, and it is up to you on how to process that, because my way of receiving information through visions, through dreams, through feelings, through the light that I see in a room, things like that, is going to be very different than the way that you do. However, there are people who receive similar information. So it's really about you tapping into the ways that you receive, and that's what makes you so special. That's what makes you so unique. That you actually have this ability and you have a way of seeing and experiencing things that no one else does. Do you understand how special that is? That's your contribution. So just because someone else can do something else and you do it a different way doesn't mean it makes it any less special. It's really, you're showing them a way that they didn't know was possible. You are providing a different viewpoint. It's just like communication. It's just like having an open conversation and saying, oh, I didn't think about it like that. You're right. Cool. And then by expanding your awareness, you expand your abilities, you expand your power. Okay? So that was the first part of the video. For some reason, it was like, oh yeah, we're all channelers. Oh, we should talk about this. So that's that. The second thing I want to talk about is, I keep seeing a light around too. I keep seeing little pops of light as we do this. That's why I keep going. So I guess they're happy that we're talking about this. And so the second thing I wanted to talk about was our earth, our bodies, our experiences as a school. It is a very difficult school, but we're constantly going through learning processes so that we can learn things and be able to take that information and do things that we're supposed to do with it, right? So we sit here, and I've been doing some past life regressions for people, and I'm realizing that it's really difficult to realize or like see that everything is serving this purpose of learning, teaching and learning. It is hard for people to fully understand, because when you're in that space of like, why is this happening to me? What am I gonna do to get out of it? This feels really bad. I don't know what to do. It's hard to see of what the purpose was. So I've been working with a lot of people and asking them that question. What do you think the lesson is here? What is the purpose? And they discover the lessons for themselves with that higher being of themselves. You know, they realize that it is actually a learning lesson, that it did make them stronger in a sense. We go through those cliche thoughts of like, oh, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But it's so real. It is so true. It's just, that's the simplistic way of putting it. But what you have to think about is going, wow, that really crappy thing that happened to me that I can't seem to let go of. Why can't I let go of it? Oh, I haven't processed it yet. I haven't faced it. I've just been a victim of it. I'm choosing to be a victim of it. So what do I have to do? What do I have to learn from that experience that's going to help me grow and shift? Oh, I need to learn what the lesson was. What was I supposed to learn? And why would because people don't see why they had to go through such a horrible experience. But you know what? If I've learned anything from my life, and I'm only saying this because I've been through this, I was a child of being made fun of and treated really horribly. I've gone through a lot of things, but I knew that it all served a purpose even when I was younger. And now I'm sitting here going, oh, it's because that's the only way I'd be able to share this and be able to tell you that it actually was to serve you, that it was actually teaching you something that you were going to go along in your life and teach other people. How do you, if you don't go through certain things and know that you can come out of it in this strong sense of self, and someone in your life goes through the same thing, how would you ever help them? You'd be telling them the textbook stuff about how to solve the problem and how to heal themselves. But when someone can connect with another person that has gone through it and saying, oh, you're right, I don't have to look at it like that way. I don't have to choose to be a victim. I can choose to be powerful. I can choose to be me. I can choose to see that it was a lesson. I can choose to see that it taught me these things. And now I can choose to help teach other people those things. Don't you see how that literally changes the vibration and that shifts the whole frequency of everyone around you, inside you, everything? It shifts that. Even walking down the street when you are at a higher vibrational frequency and you're just happy and you're not feeling like a victim about things, but you're walking by someone and all of a sudden they're walking by you and they were down, do not think for 1 second that they are not uplifted by the certain frequency that you're putting off in your auric field. That's the beautiful part, is that you have no idea what you are doing for other people outside of you when you're just walking across the street. You are shifting the being of other people just by being your highest vibrational self. My dog is being his highest vibrational self right now by walking into the other room and tap dancing. That's typical. So you see that it is all a school. We all have something to learn here and to experience here. We are not victims of anything. If you want to be a victim, that's exactly what you're going to be. You are going to be the victim that you want to be. I call him my star beast because if I do any kind of work in my home, he always guards the people that I'm doing work with and creates such a neutral energy. So I love it. My little pilot star beast. His name's Pilot, by the way. A star pilot. Oh. So make sure that you choose to see this live for the lesson that it is. You chose to be here. You chose to be here. You got the body. You have all these beings and these light beings around you that are supporting your entire purpose for what you're doing here. I mean, you got the body though, so they are all in works with you to fulfill the purpose that you came here for, which is also their purpose, do you see? That's why they are helping you. Your purpose is their purpose. They are you. It is a big oversoul of energy that is all connected. And don't think for 1 second that that's your only connection are those beings. No, you and I are connected. That's why you're even listening to this. That's why you're watching this. Because we are all in each other's fields. We are all learning and we are all connected, and one action affects another. That's why it's important to always be your highest vibrational self, your highest frequency, the things that light you up, that make you feel so powerful. When you do that, everything else that is drama, that is unnecessary, it literally falls away and you can't even see it because it's not in your reality. You can't even see it. That's the shift to the new earth. Is that you're so high in this high vibrational place of love in your heart that you can't even see the other things. They don't exist to you. Think about that. Start practicing that. Like, for example, all I see right now are the pops of light and the energy that's swirling around as I talk about this. And I love it. Because they're always here and they're always supporting. Open your eyes. See that everything around you is about you learning about you. A lot of the stuff you see out there is filler. It's like energy that's just moving around. Because what are you supposed to learn from if you don't have that energy out there? But what is important to you are the contracts that you've made, the agreements that you've made with other people to help each other to learn the lessons that you're supposed to from this time. And that goes even from the dramatic experiences that you have with people. You literally make this agreement so you can learn. You're like, okay, I'm going to learn from you in this experience. You know, we're only going to be friends or we're going to be in each other's lives for this long. but you are going to teach me these things so that I can make sure I work on these other things and my karmas and all the stuff that I'm supposed to. It all serves its purpose. It is all out of love. It is all powerful. So don't hold any grudges or any dramas to any past issues that you think you have. You don't have them. You want to have them, so you have them. You think that based off of all the movies and all the motorcycles that like to zoom down my street like it's their own personal speedway, but you think that all of these dramas that exist in your life are haunting you, but they are not. You want them to haunt you. How does that feel? How does it feel to know that you want that experience? Because it validates you in some way. It validates your experience in some way in what you're doing. But does it have to? It doesn't have to, does it? Ask yourself these questions. The moment you ask your highest self those questions, you ask your angels, your guides, your higher being, does it matter? Does this actually matter? You will receive the answer so clearly in your heart. And when you do that by asking the questions, you let go. You let go instantly. It fades away. But if you never ask the question, how are you supposed to get the answer? And again, we are all channelers. So it goes right back to that. The minute you ask that question, you receive information and you get that answer. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. It is so powerful. You are so powerful. I'm just giving you the tool that you already have inside you, that you already know, to be able to realize that. When I first started training years and years and years ago, I started personal training, and I said, I'm doing this because I want people to realize the power and the strength that they already have inside them. Because you know what? For so many years, I allowed other people to be my opinion of myself. Whatever anybody said about me, that's what I decided to believe in, because they knew, right? They know better. And then once I realized that I always had this strength inside me, it just had to be awakened. Many, many years, 12, 13 years ago, I realized that I needed to train people physically so that I could help others realize the thing that is already inside of them. Because if it's a thought inside you, guess what? It is your reality. You're just seeking for the way to plant the seed so it can grow. And then when I awoke and fully up into my spiritual awakening, I realized, oh, it's in all directions. Now I want to teach people to remember what they already know. That is what I'm learning in my school here. This is my school. And I now stepped into my space as a teacher, as a bridge to help you from one space of thought into another, because you already have it in you. Thank you so much for this time. I honestly thank you. This is a powerful month. 11, 11, 11. Yes, 2018 if you add up the numbers. There's miraculous things that are taking place this month. You can feel it, believe it, and be in your power completely. The angels keep showing up behind the camera. It's so funny. These light orbs just pop up behind the camera, and I'm like, they do this all the time, but it still surprises me, and it's still so beautiful. Have a beautiful Sunday, my loves, and I will talk to you soon. Comment, connect, leave messages, share your experiences with me. That's what I'm doing this for, okay?